Northeastern University. She does community outreach. So welcome, Nikki, and you're welcome to grab lunch today also. Okay, this Saturday is Veterans Day, and so we would like to honor our club veterans. Our new member, Eric Harris, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a few words about his service to our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm just going to briefly say I was a field artillery officer, branch Army in the service. I'm also the son of a retired lieutenant colonel who was also a field artillery officer in the Army. And of my service, the biggest things I wanted to talk about was I want to relate it to golf. This morning I had like a 180-yard shot, and it was four feet from the hole. So I'm not that good of a golfer, but it was a pretty good shot for me. But I related it to artillery. The 5 elements of accurate predicted fire are your location, the target location, the weather, our calculations, and the weapon data. So the amount of charge you use on the weapon and the deflection, which way it points. And actually in golf, you're doing the same thing. You just don't get as many tries in golf as you do in artillery. So it was great service for me. I started when I was at Cal. My father also went to Cal. I went through the RTC program. He went through OCS. But I always felt in my family that, we should serve our country, at least for a time. And I was able to do that as well as my father. So that's my moment. Thank you.
Okay, and if there are any veterans in the room, if you could please stand so we could recognize you today. Okay. We're a little light, but I know we do have veterans in the club. So thank you, Eric, for that. So today we stop for the day. Greg Annis, will you please come up and lead us through our thought for the day? And he'll be sharing a little bit about the committee he chairs, which is the Interact Committee. And he'll also introduce Alan Duong, our Interact Area 1 Director, who will be presenting about the Fall Leadership Conference. So let's give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon, President Tom and fellow Rotarians. My thought for the day is something I wrote about gratitude. Your gratitude can never be overabundant. So do not hold back telling those you love how grateful you are that they are in your life. This is something you will never regret. Like Tom said, I'm the committee chair of the Interact Committee. The Interact Committee is one of many youth services that our club provides. Our club sponsors 6 Interact clubs in Oakland. The schools that we have clubs in are American Indian Model School, Bishop O'Dowd, Oakland Charter, Oakland High, Oakland Tech, and Skyline. These clubs mirror Rotary in structure and in the fact that they are service-oriented. The high school students are the officers and the members of these clubs, and they do a fantastic job of the administration of the clubs. These clubs have some exciting projects coming up this year, some of which you'll hear about momentarily. I'm looking for more Rotarians to become advisors of these clubs. So if you'd like to join our committee as advisors, or if you just want to join the committee, not as an advisor, just as a member, we're looking to grow. I'm looking for Rotarians from our club to join the committee. So you can email me. I thought I had a slide with my email, but I guess not. You can email me. I'm in Club Runner. You can also let Jesse Bodel know that you're interested in joining our committee. I do want to thank everyone that gave a bell ringer sponsorship on September 21st for interactors to attend the Fall Leadership Conference. We were able to sponsor 25 Oakland High School students to attend this conference. And I also want to thank the board for continuing to fund the annual budget for Interact, because one of the things that this budget provides is buses for the kids to get down to that Fall Leadership Conference. All right, with that, I want to introduce our Area 1 Director of Interact to tell us about the Fall Leadership Conference. Please help me welcome Area 1 Director of Interact, Alan Duong.
Hello, everyone. Would like to talk to you about our Fall Leadership Conference. So on October 7th, Interact District 570 had its Fall Leadership Conference at Independence High School in San Jose. The Fall Leadership Conference, or FLC, involves thousands of interactors from the district coming together to show their love for community service while showing spirit and pride in their area. Also happening at FLC were the unveiling of the international and community Interact projects. Each year, Interact at the international and district level choose 2 projects, that serve our global and local communities. These 2 projects are the primary beneficiaries of the monetary fundraising and the service hours that Interact clubs in our district generate throughout the duration of the year. This year, the Interact International project, called Foster Our Future, aims to stem the influx of plastic pollution in Thailand. Currently, Thailand is the 6th worst contributor to ocean waste, generating over 4 million pounds of plastic waste to that which ultimately ends up in the environment. In the project Foster Our Future, Interact is partnering with TerraCycle Thai Foundation. Throughout fundraising and service hours, Interact aims to raise $45,000 towards fostering waste systems in Thailand. With TerraCycle's help, Interact aims to eliminate over 170,000 pounds of plastic waste through education and creating waste banks in the communities. Through the Carl Stuckey World Community Service Committee, the Rotary Club of Oakland works with Rotary clubs in developing countries to conceptualize and complete projects that will benefit those communities. Foster Our Future is in line with the work of the Carl Stuckey World Community Service Committee, which is an example of how the work that Interact does mirrors the work of Rotary. The community project that the district developed is called Plant the Seed. Plant the Seed was a project that is designed to fight the effects of climate change in the Bay Area. By the end of the century, it is predicted that heat waves in Oakland will be an average of 9 degrees warmer. This change in climate disproportionately affects communities of color. In Oakland, approximately 70% of the 180,000 Black residents live in areas with poor air quality. With Plant the Seed, Interact plans to correct this issue by teaming up with our city forest to plant over 400 trees. These trees that are planted help clean the air, give off more oxygen, and greatly improving our environment. Trees also reduce storm water runoff, limiting the effects of erosion. They allow for water conservation, soil preservation, and wildlife support. Planting trees in underserved communities can also have a huge positive psychological impact on these communities. The Environment Committee of the Rotary Club of Oakland has been developing a plan to assist with the planting of trees in our city. The city of Oakland was just awarded $8 million in federal funding for tree planting projects. These projects that Oakland Rotary and the city of Oakland are involved in align perfectly with Plant the Seed Interact Community Project. Together, we will reclaim our planet, our future. Thank you.
Yeah, Alan is in high school and he's showing tremendous leadership by even being here today. So thank you, Alan, for all that you do. Okay, so AV, are we having trouble with the slides? A little bit, okay, because okay, so next Thursday, Hung Wei will be leading a district leadership on Zoom. If anyone wants to participate, we'll be sending out a link about that. And then last week, I wanted to share some slides about Jennifer Jones's visit or some photos. I'm not sure if we have that up. Okay, it'd be so that's the leadership. So yeah, there we go. So Jennifer Jones really, she had a great time last week. And I want to thank all of you for making her feel so welcome, and her husband, Nick. You know, we went to the Barrier Free Park. We went to Lake Chalet where, okay, next. We went to Lake Chalet where, you know, the four-way test is in front of Lake Chalet. You probably walked by it 1,000 times. If we keep going, keep going. And then we met with the artist Mario Kyoto over at the Henry J. Kaiser Memorial Park for the Remember Me Memorial. And she was very interested in that. Ends up Shannon Hackley went to high school with the artist. And so it was kind of a reunion for them. But anyways, it was just a really amazing job. We also at the dinner that evening, Sylvia Whitlock. How many, if you could raise your hands, who do you know of Sylvia Whitlock? Okay, so Sylvia Whitlock joined us for the dinner last week, and Sylvia Whitlock was the subject of the landmark Supreme Court case that enabled women to join Rotary and serve as president. So if we could advance it one more, please. And there she is. And so she joined us last week. She's a good friend of Jennifer Jones, and yes, it was just a really special night. So I want to thank Joe and Christine. Could you stand up, Joe and Christine? So I just want to thank you for a wonderful set of events. And Christine will also be sharing a little bit more later. Today, we have the distinct privilege of inducting a new member to our Rotary Club. The Barton Carter is sponsored by Isaac Cowstreet. Would you please come forward? And Isaac will introduce our new member and provide 2 interesting facts.
Thank you, President Tom. Isaac Koss-Reed, Chair of the Membership Committee this year, and it is my honor to induct yet another amazing member of Oakland Rotary. Bart Carter was born and raised in Los Angeles and has lived in Oakland for 20 years. Bart is a fund formation lawyer at Prologis. Prologis is a publicly traded real estate company that focuses on logistics and industrial warehouses. You may have seen their name around town. They have quite a few properties here in Oakland. They're headquartered in San Francisco, and Bart has actually worked at Prologis for 16 years and previously was a corporate attorney for 7 years at Latham & Watkins. Bart is a proud graduate of UCLA, where he attended undergrad, and of Georgetown, where he attended law school. Bart lives with his wife and 2 teenage kids in Oakland, and their kids are 18 and 16, so he's already looking forward to having the college application process fully and completely behind him. Both of his kids actually attended Escuela Bilingüe Internacional in Oakland and Oakland and Emeryville. And while there, Bart served on their board of trustees for 5 years, and 2 of those years served as board chair. Now, in terms of special fun facts about Bart, you'll be excited to learn that one of his special powers is project management. Good guess, though. And while you would have preferred a more exciting superpower, being a hyper-organized and diligent project manager has proven to be very helpful throughout his career. Also, and perhaps a little bit more in the category of truly fun and amazing and impressive, and we're going to have to hear this story someday, Bart has visited all 50 states. Having traveled to each, he confirms California is the best. Okay. Welcome, Bart. Yeah, we gotta get, Liz is gonna get our picture.
Okay. So we'll run through this, Barton, but so let's see. So I'm presenting you with this red badge, and this signifies you as a new member of our club. And also attached is the Rotary pin. So you will receive I have a goodie bag for you. So you'll receive our 4-way test, which guides Rotarians in their daily lives. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? You will receive the Rotary Made Easy Handbook, which provides useful information about our club and our club directory. And also included is your Rotary pin, so you can wear this at any club around the world. And that's a pretty, it's a very exciting thing to do. It's you in other Rotary clubs around the world, you'll meet with heads of the local government or business leaders. It's great. And you'll also receive our centennial book written by our own Lyndall Hamilton. Your commitment as a new member is to attend meetings, participate in one or more of our committees. We can use some project management, practice service above self, and contribute to both the Rotary Foundation and Oakland Rotary Endowment. So again, it is my privilege and pleasure to induct you as our newest member to the Oakland Rotary Club. So thank you. Okay. So thank you again. Today we have a meeting sponsor, Carrie Bukovic, who's she's representing the Piedmont East Bay Children's Choir. So welcome, Carrie.
Thank you, President Tom. Can we pull up the video? Because it goes through the whole 3 minutes. Thanks. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. And change will come to you. We're almost there. Thanks, Liz. I'm going to talk anyway. So like you, my fellow Rotarians at Piedmont East Bay Children's Choirs, we are focused on creating connections locally and internationally in goodwill. And I'm just lucky that I get to sing while we do it. So we are focused on, can you back it up to the beginning? Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. So at the choirs throughout our 42 years, we are focused on empowering our young people to become skilled musicians, global ambassadors, and community change makers, all through the power of the human voice. Those voices were some that you heard last week with Jennifer Jones. And I was telling Barbara earlier that our singers heard me talk about them being global change makers, and they were like, whoa, we do that. And it's just how their voices work. And we do it through championing K-12 voices in community choirs in Title I schools, through our advanced performing department and our touring choirs, including Ensemble, who you heard last week, focusing on collaborations with professional musicians, commissioning music by over 70 composers, the majority BIPOC and women composers to date, and touring and cultural exchange to 19 states and 26 countries. And that's really what I want to share with you today. Can we hear her? Okay. Her voice is much more important than mine.
Well, we're gonna work on this. Hold on. Who has a mic? Yes. Can you start this from the beginning, please? Yeah.
Just a minute, thank you, because honestly,
He
They
always
answer.
makes it. Ready? When you're ready. Okay, I'm up. Just give me a little wait. Okay. Where's the speaker? Wait, wait. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to paraphrase. This is one of our leaders. Well, this is what we learned about in music, right? How to improvise. This is one of our leadership team, and she's talking about their trip to Costa Rica, where they last summer had some performances with local schools. And she was talking about how these elementary school kids were coming up to them and hugging them and asking them for autographs, and how they didn't have a lot in common in terms of language or in culture or even the amount of time that they got to spend with them. But how for her, it was such an, stop it there for a second. How for her, it was just so impactful that and very special that they were able to connect so deeply just for the appreciation of the music that they shared and the appreciation for the time that they got to spend together and the power of that experience. And so that's kind of where we come into our touring, is that anytime that we connect with an experience that challenges us and that changes us, we end up sparking changes in the world. And the impacts of the choir then become more than even about music. And touring is much more than a trip. We create those deep relationships through staying with homestays and keep it going. Serving as global music ambassadors and learning from other cultures. So on your tables today, we have information about our upcoming December performances. And I particularly want to give a plug for one that our participation in the Nutcracker with the Oakland Ballet and the Oakland Symphony. It's a powerful example of how organizations work together to create something very special for the community. And I hope that you will be able to join us December 16th and 17th for those performances, as well as the previous weekends for our own training department and performing department concerts. We would also really love to share with you that we are doing a tour campaign this year. It's something that we are trying to make sure that every voice is heard and that every voice can go on tour regardless of financial circumstances. And we would love to be able to see you at a concert, to have engaged with us, or let me take you on a site visit to see behind the music. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. And last week, part of the choir performed at the Jennifer Jones dinner. They did both the American national anthem and Canadian. Jennifer was very touched, so thank you, Carrie. Barbara Beery, please share an update on a project and important work the Carl Stuckey World Community Service Committee is working on.
Thank you, President. Instead of the prepared speech, I'll just make a couple of quick points. I want to thank you so much for your contributions to the Rotary Foundation. We have been able to do amazing work around the world because of your contributions. And I hope you do that again this year. Our club has quite a reputation for being generous, and that comes back to us in the form of the ability to do projects. So our grant in Nepal to prevent cervical cancer through testing and HPV is just one example. I'm happy to say that Karen Friedman, Michael Brock, Dee Rajpandali, and I are just beginning to explore the possibility of doing another HPV project, cervical cancer project in Colombia. Our good friends there. We've done a number of projects with them in the past, and through your donations, we're going to continue doing this with them.
We're running a little behind, so Barbara, I appreciate you giving a shorter report. But this is the importance of Rotary. We leverage our local partners around the world. Our club has projects on 5 continents currently. Christine Watson is gonna give us an update on TRF.
Thank you, President. Last week we had the kickoff for the Rotary Foundation campaign for 2023-2024 year. And as Joe announced, then November and December is the time that we focus and remind all of you of the incredible work and services that funded by your donations, our club donations, and the 1.3 million Rotary member donations to projects for the Rotary Foundation. Let's see, what have we got up there? You can bring up slide 1, please.
Sure, yeah. I know. Oh, yeah.
The Rotary Foundation is currently working on 60 global grant projects in 26 countries. Next slide. On 5 continents for a total of 2.5 million. Since 2020, our district 5170 has added 12 projects supporting countries like Kenya, Guatemala, India, Nepal, and El Salvador. It is truly amazing that that kind of effort comes from a group like us. We do all of this with your donations and a philosophy that no donation is too small. This year, our club goals are $100,000 in donation. That's what we want to raise during this time period. And every member donation counts. If every member gives a donation of $25 or more, we have a special challenge opportunity to boost our funds. Several Rotarians have come together to donate $50,000. If every member of our club donates something by 12/31/2023, the goal is to get 100% contribution from all members. We are suggesting and asking for $25 per member. Help us. This $50,000 challenge is within our reach. Don't leave money on the table. And now you know why we had such a grand and hopefully fun kickoff last week. Past President Jennifer Jones, first female president, came to be with us all day on November 2nd. How many of you were able to attend? Did you have a good time? All right. Allison Bliss, how was it?
Well, thank you, Christine. It was fantastic. Christine had to be out of town that day, the woman who made it happen. So I got to use her ticket. And, you know, there were so many wonderful things that happened. It was very inspiring. Thank you. Especially, I was happy to hear, hi, Natalie. It was nice to hear the children's choir, who only had 2 weeks to learn the Canadian anthem so that they could impress Jennifer Jones. And of course, yes, the Resistance, which was Jennifer herself, who's our, by the way, for our guests, she is our former international president of Rotary. And she gave some very heart-wrenching and heartwarming stories of the 53 countries that she and her husband had visited all across the world to represent Rotary and to bring back to us stories about why it's so important for us to donate.
Thank you so much, Allison. That was great to hear. Thank you for the recap. We want to take a moment to say thank you to so many of our Rotarians that stepped up in so many ways. Next slide. Oh, you got it. Okay. The Rotarian businesses that we support, committee members, AV, entertainment, We Care, communications, past presidents, board members. A special thanks to Joe Goraka. All right. My co-chair and President Tom Limon for their leadership and 24-hour support to make this happen. It was wonderful. So thank you guys very much. One more thing to ask. When you go home today, check your mail. You have a donation and a remittance envelope. It's out at your house today. This is your chance to make a difference and help us towards that goal of every member counts, every member donates. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
And it's Christine's birthday today, so. You got off lucky because Ugly Hat's not here. Otherwise, it's Stein Ward last week. You guys share the same birthday. We took one. So we're running way behind. I apologize. This is the first time I think we've run this far behind, but if we could advance the next slide, I just wanted to highlight a couple upcoming events. So next weekend, Mark Rosen and High Adventure, they're planning a couple of events. One is the Dock Park and Baloney Park on Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Also, the Pacific Pinball Museum outing on Sunday, November 26th from 11 to 1. These events are on your table. And also, we still use a few more volunteers for the PAO camp volunteer day over in Redwood Park. Also, I wanted to, if we could go to the next slide. Okay, so the 38th annual Oakland Interfaith Gospel Choir concert is on Saturday, December 2nd at 7 p.m. Tickets are available, and we also have a discount code if you would like to participate on the VIP experience. Also, December 4th is the Niles Canyon Train of Lights. So I haven't done this, it's on a Monday, but it's supposed to be fantastic as well. And also our friends at ACT have offered us a 20% discount on previews and opening night for a Christmas Carol. So that's all happening the first couple weekends in December. And so you can go on our Eventbrite page, you can check out our calendar page on Club Runner to find out more about these events. So Isaac Osprey, would you please introduce today's speaker?
Yes, what an honor, President Tom. Ali Bondi is currently the Senior Director of Public Policy and Finance for Oakland Thrives Ventures Joint Powers Authority. It's a joint agency of the City of Oakland, OUSD, and the County of Alameda, where she works on public sector systems change, strategic finance, and economic justice issues. Previously at Oakland Thrive, she ran the Oakland Resilient Families Guaranteed Income Pilot and co-developed the Rise Eat initiative, which if you haven't heard about it, look it up, it's amazing. Prior to joining Oakland Thrives, Ali was the Director of Public Policy for the Oakland Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce, which is where she and I met. And Ali carries a master's degree from the Goldman School of Public Policy at UC Berkeley with an emphasis on equity and local government. And she has Bay Area roots as a fifth-generation resident and lives in Oakland with a yellow lab. Welcome, Ali.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have a couple. Hi. Can everybody hear me? I've got some slides that Tom's going to pull up for me in a second, but it's really nice to be here, to be back. I've been in Rotary meetings since pre-pandemic, so it feels very at home to come back and see everyone. And hi to the folks online. I love the hybrid approach. So my name is Ali Bondi, as Isaac said. I'm going to talk to you today about guaranteed income. How many people here have heard the term UBI? Cool. What about guaranteed income, GI? Nice. What about basic income? What about guaranteed basic income? What about universal guaranteed basic income? Nice. There's a lot of acronyms, a lot of ways that take into describing what is essentially a very simple concept, and it is unrestricted, flexible cash and placing trust in families experiencing poverty. It is not revolutionary, but it is transformational. You can go to the first slide, please. Thank you. Quick context for what the heck organization I work for that Isaac mentioned with the long name, Oakland Thrives / the Youth Ventures Joint Powers Authority. Long way of saying we are a public-private partnership with a JPA in the center of us. We can go to the next slide.
Next slide.
Oh, I forgot there's animations on this one. Sorry about that. You can advance all the way. Perfect. So I sometimes call guaranteed income a new old idea or an old new idea. It is long rooted in social justice movements, but recently became much more popular. I'm sure you've heard all of the news popping up about pilots everywhere. Every city's got a pilot. A lot of people cite Martin Luther King as one of the thought leaders to bring it back into the common parlance in the 1960s. This being Oakland, we prefer to point out that it is, I believe you can advance one more, number 2 on the Black Panthers 10-point program, a guaranteed basic income. Keep going, please. Thank you. Rooted in, well, I'm going to get to the data in a minute, so you can keep going. Next slide. Perfect. So, this idea is not new, but it did become popular again after a certain presidential primary candidate and on the UBI platform, Andrew really popularized the term. A young mayor of Stockton, California, Michael Tubbs, decided, we're going to do this. We're going to do this in my community. It's a political risk. Sure, it's not been tested. Sure, people are going to say, how can you give people free money? What are they going to spend on? You know, how can you trust them? And that started a movement of mayors. And in Oakland, our mayor at the time, Mayor Libby Schaaf, was one of the first to join that movement and say, we want to bring a guaranteed income pilot to our city. And in March of 2020, we were able to secure the philanthropic funding for guaranteed income pilot for 600 Oakland families experiencing poverty to receive $500 a month for 18 months. We were probably the second pilot to launch in California, I think. Maybe Compton was third. Oakland really, you know, took up the cause early. Keep going to the next one, please. This is in no way readable for the folks in the room, but the people online might be able to. This is just a little bit to talk about how we went about the research of the pilot and how we set these income levels for the families. So essentially, what you're trying to test when you do a guaranteed income pilot, what all of these cities are trying to test is what is the effect of a little bit of flexible cash on top of existing social safety net supports, not replacing. And so in order to do that, we targeted Oaklanders with a child in the house under 18. Family comes in many different shapes and sizes. Could be a grandma raising a grandson, could be found family, it could be single moms, single dads. All that mattered was that there was a child in the house. And the theory there is that when you stabilize a family and you stabilize a child, you see ripple effects generationally after that. And that is well proven in all of the data and was our sort of central theory of change. So 300 families in Deep East Oakland and 300 families citywide were going to be selected randomly to receive it. We did an Oakland application process. It was available in 6 different languages. Folks came on board. They're participating in the research, and payments have been going out for the past 18 months. And the final payment was delivered in June of this year. I'm going to keep going. Thank you. One of the most important things when we talk about guaranteed income in our current iteration of it is to talk about why. Talk about why do we need this? Why is it that our existing social safety nets aren't enough? Why is it that there's a really specific, clear need in certain populations and in certain neighborhoods and not in others? And so part of the reason we structured the Oakland Resilient Families project the way that we did was because to recognize that. This was a program targeted at eliminating race-based wealth disparities. It's just simply that. The demographics of our pilot, because of how we did outreach, because of how we analyzed the data, very much reflects the demographics of poverty in Oakland. And those are probably too small for people to see, but it should be, it's a startling, it's stark. And part of the greater mission of a guaranteed income pilot is to not only give people money, not only talk about, you know, why structural poverty exists in the way that it does, but it's specifically go at the myths and stereotypes that this country collectively holds as narratives about families experiencing poverty, particularly families of color experiencing poverty. The first thing I think that comes to a lot of people's minds might be the infamous welfare queen stereotype, right? People live high on the hog off of other dollars. It is simply factually not true. Not true. And part of the mission of Guaranteed Income Pilot is to tell the stories of what happens when families, individuals are trusted, are just trusted. Lower barriers, trust. Good things happen. It's actually not shocking. Money and, you know, the money helps people, right? But the oh, actually, sorry, I'm going to tell you to skip to the next slide, please. So part of the central point of the Oakland pilot was to ask for volunteers of participants to serve as storyteller families. And so we have gotten several people who have really shared their stories, led on media, organized with other families in their area. And one in particular I wanted to lift up was Alicia Rowe, who's in the bottom right picture there. Alicia is a born and raised resident of East Oakland. She's raising her grandson, and she was selected for the Guaranteed Income Pilot. That she absolutely thought it was a scam at first and wasn't sure the money was going to actually come. She rebuilt her credit. She started a savings account for her grandson's college fund. She started a nonprofit in her neighborhood that she had been wanting to for years, that does backpack giveaways and partnerships with local churches. She said that she started that because she wanted to give back to the community that had supported her so much while she was a young single mom. Temporary cash payments, flexible cash payments, they have decades-long effects. I would love it if this was a pilot. This pilot was longer, of course, we all do. But the echo effects really ripple out. And when we continue telling the stories of folks like Alicia in the pilot, she's just one, there's 600 people in there. And look at the qualitative data that's coming from our researchers and the quantitative data that's coming. We're going to have a beautiful story to tell. I am absolutely confident of that. And we're going to be joined by hundreds of other pilots across the country that are all going to be coming online with results in the next year, 2 years. So this movement is really primed, and this movement is very much rooted in Oakland and Oakland's history and Oakland's values. So thank you. I'd love to answer some questions if we have time. Oh, you can keep them for those.
So from what I heard, you have private funding as well as city. Wait. All right, thank you, Emily. From what I heard, you have both private and public funding. So meaning civic funding. What's this pilot? Hoping this pilot shows that all signs pointing towards green light. This is amazing. Triple effect. Are you already in talks with the city of Oakland about continuing this funding and having more of a civic backing versus private funding?
That's a good question. One, I mean, this particular pilot is completely philanthropically funded, but there are already actually two pilots in the Alameda County that are publicly funded. More so from the county than from the city, because the county has the dollars on healthcare and social services and safety net stuff. But to answer your question, yes, there's a movement around what does the policy look like after this? What is the governmental adoption? every city's asking that question. Every city's looking at their budget and thinking about how would this work. Every county is too. I'm really proud of the counties in California because at first this was framed in some circles as a threat to the county social safety net, that they would dissolve the social safety net, just give people money. It's a very like libertarian idea. And is particularly in Alameda County, they said absolutely not. We know that's not the case. We're going to do it ourselves, actually. So there's a foster youth guaranteed income pilot going from Alameda County using public dollars. And if anyone's going to figure it out, we will. We would love for the state or the feds to fund this though, because it is very expensive.
Hi there. Will you be sharing that with the club? Or can we go to the city website to see the details? I work with people experiencing homelessness, so I'm curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to share the deck. The pilot website is oaklandresilientfamilies.org. It was more so a place for people to come and apply when the application was open. But yeah, happy to share the deck as well. Oh, Isaac, hey. That's a very good question. We got, so yes, Isaac asked about the interplay with reparations discussions. And it's a very good question. We got that question a lot when we first announced, because we also got highlighted by Tucker Carlson on Fox News a whole bunch when we first announced. But the short answer is that no, this is not reparations. Reparations come with an apology, a specific apology, and a promise to never do it again and to have changed the systems to ensure that it doesn't happen again. This can be a part of that. This can, cash payments are part of that structure of a reparations process, and is hopefully a proof point in showing that it helps everyone. But there's a very different definition and soul searching that has to go on for that.
Yes, hello. Thank you for being here today. My question, if it is true that these payments, which are very well used, don't continue forever, how does the family readjust when all of a sudden they're experiencing loss of income and the payments stop?
That is a very good question too. It's a limited duration pilot. Everybody knew it was a limited duration pilot. Families for that particular fact, some of them set goals at the beginning, and so I want to have set aside an emergency fund of $400 by the end of this, or paid off my credit card debt. I'm not saying that it's not easy to, or I'm not saying that it's easy to adjust when the money goes away, but all of the pilots that are happening are very clear with participants that this is not forever. This is, a hand up, not a hand out. And at least in my experience, participants always rose to the challenge. I think we underestimate, particularly people experiencing poverty's ability to plan for themselves, strategize, save, find resources they need. There's an incredible amount of strength and forethought in communities like that, and it's been borne out, at least in the experience of this pilot and the pilots that I know about.
I think we have one more. Allison Bliss.
Hey.
Hi, I'm at Allie also. Thank you very much for your talk. I didn't know about the program, but is there any plan for a longitudinal study once your results come out?
I love that question. There are hopes for a longitudinal study, which would basically be following the progress of the families over many, many, many years. We basically have to get a new research protocol and re-enroll folks in a new trial. And you get some data sharing partnerships with the city, county, school districts, things like that. It's a bigger lift than it sounds, but there is absolutely a desire to do that. If we can make it happen in Oakland, that would be great. I think there's also the opportunity to do it in a bunch of different pilots that are happening right now. I think you hit on what the next step is for the movement as a whole. Cool. Thank you so much.
So Ali had less than a week's notice and she prepared it very well. And, you know, we unfortunately had to cut it a little short. So we usually run a tighter ship than this, Ali. So I apologize. So Ali, as a thank you, it's customary for our club to make a donation in your name to charity or cause. And this year, my area focuses around youth and parks and open space. So we'll be making a donation to the Oakland Park and Recreation Foundation's and Woodell Swim Scholarship Fund, which supports the Oakland Swim Initiative. So every child in Oakland can learn to swim by 5th grade. Yeah, thank you. All right, so Joe Garaka, if you'd like to ring the bell, that looks like.
I would.
Can we get a microphone? And to our guests, a bell ring is a generous $100 tax-deductible donation to our Oakland Rotary Endowment.
I feel like I need to ring the bell 4 times.
4 times.
I think you saw that. Thank you with so many members that helped out with 2 slides. So we'll take a chance to be republished somewhere. But there are 4 people in the room that I want to acknowledge a little bit more special. Carrie Bukovich, the Piedmont East Bay Children's Choir was fabulous and really set the tone for the meeting, for the dinner. So thank you to the choir. David Douglas provided an airport shuttle and a driver that allowed us to tour projects. I probably wouldn't have done it. It was fabulous. And when I talked to the driver, I kind of gasped a little bit. He said, yeah, my regular driver was sick, so I'm getting overtime today. That's what he said, David. But David, thank you so very much. Seth Butner, I don't know if he snuck out of here.
He's back there.
He provided us a great silent auction item. And Christine, what a joy it was to work with you. Thank you for not running and hiding when we found out Jennifer was going to come with about a month's notice. So thank you all.
All right, thank you, Joe. So that's 4 bell rings. All right, thank you, Joe. And you know, these meetings, so I want to thank our AV crew. They had some challenges today, but they ultimately came through. So thank you guys. Jesse Bodel for all his help. Julie Fox for her help in coordinating the lunch. Our Interact committee, they served as greeters today, and also Alan. Where are you, Alan? All right, thank you, Alan, again for being here today with us. And please be sure to bust your tables. And then also just one quick thing. David Stein and Jack McAvoy took Jennifer Jones's husband out golfing the next day on Friday. And he shot a 73 and borrowed clubs, and he hadn't played in like almost a year. So he had a really special day. So Ruth Straub, are you out there?
I just shot this here.
Oh, she needs the microphone. So Ruth is going to share who our speaker next week will be.
Next week we'll be in the ballroom again. I know, it's a change of pace for us in the ballroom. We'll be hearing from the director of the Children's Creativity Museum. I think you'll be really impressed to get this holiday going. Creative projects.
Right, Catherine Greenbaum. So you can sign up for our Eventbrite or look at our other events. But thank you all for being here. And also Vinny is back in the room. Glad you could make it, Vinny. Thanks for being here. And so anyways, thank you everyone again. And remember, Oakland Rotary is good for you. This meeting is adjourned.
It's just one? That's it? I'm asking. Sometimes I don't.